At Highland Hill Farm, we believe many different things about water. One thing we all can agree on is that newly transplanted trees should be watered appropriately so they can go through the transplant shock and grow out to be healthy, nice-looking trees in your landscape. We agree on that roots of the tree is the most important thing to water, and our drip system waters the tree directly at the roots and not on the foliage. You can see here, around the little weeds we have, that we have a drip line that goes into each tree and waters the tree roots of the plant. And that helps the roots pick up water and lets the system of the plant work as it should work in nature. Every now and then it's okay to water the foliage, like overhead irrigation is okay in certain instances. However, if you constantly water the tree's foliage every day for a couple of hours, it's most likely not very good. The reason it's not very good is that if you have any minerals in your water and you're constantly putting water on your foliage, those minerals can deposit and build up over time on the leaves. Our area, we have very heavy calcium in our water. So if we constantly put water on the foliage, that calcium builds up into a white sheet and it doesn't look as nice. Blocks photosynthesis, and with all the water on the foliage may also encourage funguses to grow on the foliage. That's why we tend to like to have our water delivered to the root systems of the tree rather than onto the leaves of the tree. Now, next question is, how long should you water for a tree? It's a very difficult question for anyone to answer because each location you plant the tree at will determine how much water you need. A good example is if you go to South Jersey and you plant in the sands, you're going to need more water than if you go around to northern Pennsylvania where we have heavy clay, you'll need less water. It all depends on the soil that you have, how it drains from it, and the type of plant that you have. Whether it be a potted plant versus ball and burlap plant, when the ball and burlap plant was dug, how long it's been out of the ground, has it started to grow new roots. It also depends on the weather of the year. How long you should water it's dependent on how much rain you had, how hot the area is, how much wind goes through, is it full sun, is it shaded. All those factors affect the amount of water that a plant needs to survive in an area. The best thing to do is to go out and see if the plant is moist or not. If it's moist, the plant has the water available to it to uptake the water for its needs. If it's too wet, there's too much water around, it blocks oxygen flow to the roots, and if there's not oxygen flow to the roots start to suffocate and they die. That's what I call root rot. If there's not enough water, the roots can't pick up enough water to support all the foliage on the tree stops growing and starts shedding leaves, and that's not what a good-looking plant in the landscape should look like. A good-looking plant should get enough water that it needs to keep all its foliage and put on some new growth on it. However, now saying that, there is some exceptions to that. Some plants such as maples and birches go through summer adjustment sheds. And those are healthy processes that those plants do naturally. So if you go and you get a birch tree, you put it into the ground, in the middle of summer it starts losing leaves, and it's like a stray species or maybe like a heritage birch, and it starts doing that, it's not something to be worrisome of because that's what they do. So watering is very important. You want the plant to continue to grow, you want to continue to keep the foliage, but also allow the plant to do what it's going to do naturally.
Okay, now one question, Mike. Should a person, if they're going to go away for a month or for an extended period of time, should they put their trees on a timer? And if so, what would you suggest about timers on trees?
Well, if you have no one to give it water, the timer is the way to go because they do need water. I'm not particularly a fan of timers. I do use timers on my greenhouse, but timers in the landscape after the tree is planted, I guess I shrug it off a little bit, try to get one of your friends to do it or family to do it. Mostly because if you overwater the area, it's easier to overwater a plant in the ground than it is to overwater a plant out of the ground. And if you overwater the plant in the ground and you just planted it, sometimes the water stays around the tree much longer at a newly planted plant than a plant that's been in the ground for a long time. And if the water stays around the plant for longer, or you get too much water around a plant that's newly planted, the roots that are trying to grow out to compensate for being dug are smothered in the water and they can't breathe, and they usually don't do as well if it's overwatered. I would say if you water it and you use a timer, you can use a timer, but I would say water it on the lighter end with the timer, and then constantly go out and check the plant, make sure that it's getting enough water so that you can add water to the situation. But once you have too much water there, it's very hard to take the water away.
Right. A timer of 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. What would you say about that?
Yeah, we had someone that said that might be a little bit too much, especially for most of the soils in the United States. I prefer to have it maybe like once a day so that it gets wet and it gets a chance to dry out and get air into the soil. And the 2 hours depends on the system that you're using, but our system, we typically don't recommend people running it for 2 hours. That puts out just a little bit too much water in my opinion. But however, it is your landscape, it's your soil, it's your location, and if you seem to think that that's the amount of water you should do,
it could possibly be possible if you have a sandy soil.
Yeah, you have to leave room for all the different scenarios.
Okay, well thank you very much, Mike. And if you have any questions with your irrigation on your freshly planted nursery stock, this is Michael Hurst at Highland Hill Farm, and he will answer your question.
That's my vote.
And what is your number for people to call you?
My number is 267-446-2376.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike.
If you have questions about trees and shrubs, give us a call at Highland Hill Farm at 215-651-8329 or email us at bill@highlandhillfarm.com. If you like this video, I hope you subscribe, and please go to the subscribe button and subscribe to our videos. Thank you. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Alternate back and forth. It must be bald cypress.